My cousin was 34, she lost her husband, he dropped dead at work. And she was 34, they had a big mortgage, big house, 6-year-old kids. Thankfully, Jay was very financially kind of clued up, and he had a lot of life policies.
And it very much is. It's going through your bank statements, going with a highlighter, seeing what's going out.
Difference between like the essential and non-essential spending. So we have a budget planner, and I get clients to go back over their last 3 months' spendings and categorise their spendings. Not like you say, Kate, not just the direct debits, but actually the other stuff. Hi and welcome to Accelerating Your Wealth with your host, myself, Rebecca Robertson. I'm an independent financial advisor and wealth coach. I'm the director of Evolution Financial Planning, who is also our sponsor for today's show. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share and review this episode. With your help, we'll reach more people who can benefit from the show. Quick one before we get back to it. If these conversations are landing for you, we've made something to help you go deeper. It's a short quiz. You answer a few questions and it tells you where to focus, then builds you a playlist of every relevant episode so you're not hunting through the whole back catalogue. Investing, divorce, business, there are 9 areas to land in. The link's below. Hi and welcome to Accelerating Your Wealth. I'm your host, Rebecca Robertson, and today we're doing a summer reset. I'm joined by my colleagues Carol and Katie. And today we're going to be talking about striving to thriving, turning income into long-term wealth. Today we're going to be talking about that shift, because many women, even on decent income, feel that it disappears into life. It's like, get to the end of the year and where's all my money gone? So how do you turn the money coming in into lasting wealth? So we're going to be talking a little bit more about that today. Katie, would you like to quickly introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm Katie. So I'm the client manager at Evolution, and I'm also an independent protection advisor.
And Carol?
Hi, I'm Carol. I'm an independent financial planner and a money coach.
So they're my colleagues. They work with us at Evolution Financial Planning, who are our sponsors. And so welcome to listening to this summer reset session. This is episode 4. So if you like the sound of this one, do go back and check the previous episodes. And you will find, I'm sure, I've loved the conversation so far. So why does thriving feel out of reach for a lot of women, do you think? So why do women feel they are constantly managing money but not moving forward? So is it just what's stopping them from that thriving feeling?
I think it comes back to what we've said previously, Carol. You'll probably agree with me on this, that it's a lot of things, but expectation, confidence, knowledge, like taking that next step. Would you agree?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think women, we're all very, very busy people, and we've got so many different demands on our time. It is often you kind of going through life financially on a bit of a default. You're not really looking very intentionally about your money and about what's happening with your finances.
And generally, there's more emotion attached with women, I think, with financial decisions.
Financially,
Would you agree with that as well?
Yeah, there's lots of sort of attachment to things, whether it might be the house or what we're spending on ourselves or how we're spending our money, our value towards how we're spending. Because often people spend money based on like these internal values that they have, but sometimes that's misaligned. So from a thriving perspective, you've got to have that alignment, because if you're, for example, like I'm spending loads of money on the gym, but I'm not going, like that's not exactly financially speaking thriving, and I'm not really doing myself any favours.
You need a session with a money coach. Look at where you're spending money.
But I think that's the problem about day-to-day where people are so busy, they don't really look too much about or too closely about where your money is going. You just, as you say, kind of at times you're thinking, well, hang on a minute, how come my savings aren't better? How come, I don't have more aside? You're just living day to day, year by year.
I think it enters your head like it's just has with Rebecca. Rebecca's just said, I'm spending money on the gym, I don't go to it. Now that probably won't enter your head again for another couple of weeks, and then it will just fly back out again.
I have actually cancelled the gym membership.
Oh, well done.
Yeah, because I looked at it and thought, I'm not going anymore, and I've now got a horse, so I'm never going to be going even less.
And it's coming into summer. We're just naturally more active in summer anyway.
But I think that is a key thing for people to do, really. That's one thing that even if you don't take anything else away from this episode, to take away.
Sit down and look at what you're spending.
Look at your bank statements, look at your credit card statements, going back at least 1 month, 3 months ideally, and look at those regular kind of payments going out of there.
Even down to subscriptions, Carol, like
Definitely.
Netflix. I was paying for 3 screens on Netflix. When do we ever? When does my son, me, and hubby all sit together and all watch it
and not
together?
even that, you're paying for Netflix, for Disney, for Apple, for Prime. You know, there's so many different ones.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you need all of them at the same time?
Let's move closer.
Do you need all of them at the same time, or can you, cancel one for a few months, pick one up, cancel the other one? Do you and it very much is. It's going through your bank statements. Going with the highlighter, seeing what's going out.
Difference between like the essential and non-essential spending. So we have a budget planner, and I get clients to go back over their last 3 months' spendings and categorise their spendings. Not like you say, Kate, not just the direct debits, but actually the other stuff that we just spend. I mean, I don't know, like my son is into these dumplings.
So's mine. What's that all about?
They're have you seen these?
Like squishy.
They're like squishy.
Oh, I was thinking you were talking about like gyoza or something to eat.
No.
I wish it was.
Yes, so do I.
And they're like, depending on where you buy them, they're anything from £4 to £6.
Yeah, we had to buy one yesterday.
So I've now come up with a deal. So at school he has Dojo points on so I'm not interested in them. He says, I don't really care, I'm not bothered, which is really unlike him. He's normally likes his typical boy, gamify. I said, well, if for every one you get, I'll give you £1. So he gets to the car today, he's got £9 from last week.
You do know that sometimes they give him like 10 or 20 at once, Rebecca.
Last week he got 14.
So you had to give him 14
No,
quid.
like the first day I wasn't part of our deal, so I said to him, no, you're not having the 5 gold star points.
Yeah, sometimes they get my son's teacher give him 10 at a time.
Yeah, like
for opening the door.
Yeah,
like, what's going on?
Exactly. So he's got £9 in his account. So I had to put the money in his account, and he said to me, got in the car, he said, can we after school? Can we go and get some dumplings? Like, yes, we can. And you're spending your own money. And his little face changed and went, oh. And you could tell, like, he was like the value. So the associated value, when we start to be financially sort of valued towards something. So if we're just spending and spending and spending and there's no value around, how does that, same with my daughter. She's like, oh, can I have this? Can I have that? I'm like, well, yeah, if you're going to buy it. And as soon as you say, well, you're paying it, it's your money, she'll say, oh, no, I'm not spending my money on that.
Yeah,
so that's such an innocent way to look at it. And the same thing with us is that if we felt like, actually, if we saw like a barometer and it meant that you would have less to retire on, or if you spend that amount of money on Costa Coffee, Katie, every year, it means you'll have to work another year longer.
I'd probably still buy the coffee.
There's a great calculator on Martin Lewis's Money Saving Experts webpage, the Money Multiplier, I think it's called, where you can do exactly that. You can put in, your £3 cup of coffee every day, or 5 days a week, every weekday, and you can see exactly what it's costing you over a year or over 3 years.
I think you did that with me. Do you remember?
Which is a really good way of thinking about, you might really enjoy that coffee. Is it worth how much it costs in a year?
Rebecca broke it down to flights to Australia. Do you remember? He was like, you spend this much money, that's your flight to Australia.
And in some ways it is, because you really, really need the coffee.
But what's more important, going to visit your brother in Australia?
You met my brother, my coffee. I don't mean that. No, exactly.
But I think it is really useful for women to be able to do that kind of audit or assessment
emotional connection to
that
the money.
Visual as well, seeing it visually in front of you. It's so much easier to acknowledge it and realise it for yourself when you see it in black and white like that.
So I've got, apart from my book, which is Accelerating Your Wealth, 10 Ways to Accelerate Your Wealth, I also have a wealth planner. So if you're more into sort of stationery and writing things, and there's like a section where you have like a barometer. So you could even just get a pen and paper right now, and you just draw imagine if you're sort of a charity and you're saving money and it's going up. Have that goal at the top. If you've got a goal in mind, a bit like my son with the Dojo points, and he knows what he's doing, it's going to buy the money for. There's like a gamifier to it. We're more likely to do it. We're more motivated to do it.
Yeah.
So if you think about that one goal, if you haven't got a goal in mind, whether it's booking a flights to America or clearing that credit card or having more money for Christmas or the holiday for next year, whatever it might be, if you haven't got that goal in mind, you're just more likely to, because there's no value in what you're doing, you would just use your cards, keep spending and spending and spending. So that for me, the mental switch from surviving to thriving is about having aligned wealth and spending your money in a very goal-orientated manner.
More awareness of what you're spending, I think, as well, isn't it?
And I think it is important. Yeah, I think it is very important, because our how we live today, like online and social media, is all very much kind of
instant,
giving us instant, quick hits of dopamine, quick pleasure, and we live the same way spending. We want the coffee.
It's now influencers. Like, that was never a thing in my teenage years. I just think these young kids are being so influenced into buy this new set of hair straighteners. I find myself often clicking the shop now link, going through and thinking, what are you doing?
Why are you doing it?
Well, you don't need new straighteners. What are you doing?
And I think it's trying to find a balance between, we probably still want some short-term kind of rewards, but a balance between that and your kind of longer term goals. And it is
100%.
It's really helpful to kind of have a think about longer term. What do you want for the longer term? How do you want to live?
But we're influenced all in the wrong ways though, Carol, because unfortunately, even if you listen to the radio or you're on TikTok and you're getting advertised, or you go onto a website because you're looking for horse rugs, and then you go onto Facebook
and they're all over your Facebook.
They're all over.
Yes.
I started looking at tree surgeons and then literally all I've had. So we're marketed in such a blatant way. They're listening to us now on my phone. They're going to be listening to what I'm talking about cakes, and then you watch. I'll go on Facebook and there'll be some cake recipe. They've obviously got their marketing wrong because they weren't listening correctly. I'm not the cake market, but it's about like we're getting marketed to. So the system is against us. If you look at wealthy people, and you look at how they manage wealth, their assets are in shares in companies, millions and millions of pounds. So they go to the bank and they say, I've got all these shares in these companies. You give me some money. I'm going to borrow it from you at like, say, 4 or 5%. I'll pay the interest. And actually, I've got a couple of £1 million to go and do what I want with it. And they're actually like playing the system to its, but they're able to do that because they're ultra wealthy. It's a different game. It's a different league. And I don't mean that in a hierarchy that they're better. I just mean it's a different way of operating. Whereas we're told to get a bigger mortgage, a bigger house, more debt, bigger cars.
Buy this,
buy
that.
buy the
look
rugs,
this way, act this way. Yeah.
And it takes time for us to actually psychologically step back from that and reprioritise, so we can change how we view things.
We're not saying you need to live frugally. You don't need to take serviettes from the restaurants to use as toilet paper. That's not what we're saying.
Do you do that?
No, but I follow some guy on TikTok that does. It's really bizarre. But
there's frugal and there's strange.
Yeah, there's frugal and there's just cheap, right?
Yeah.
So there's being frugal and there's being cheap. So we're not saying you need to live like that, but we are saying be more mindful on what you're spending. You can have a coffee from Costa, of course you can, but do you need one every single day at the cost of... I bought a matcha the other day just because I wanted to get into the hype and try a matcha. First of all, it tastes like dirt, and second of all, £5.70.
I'm not. Let's not get into that. I don't know what that is.
£5.70.
What's she talking about? Is
matcha. I'm going to show you on the way back.
Okay, let's not waste time talking
about
matcha.
£5.70. If you're buying a matcha every day at £5.70, I'm not quick with maths, but that's a lot of money.
Yeah, it's a huge amount of money.
But I think what you said just there, Rebecca, is really quite important for people, though, really, because the people that are getting richer over the last 5, 10, 20 years are the people invested and the people with assets, and they're
leveraging the system. They're using it to their advantage.
There's kind of discussion of a K-shaped economy, and it's the people at the kind of top, the asset owners that are becoming wealthy. So, the more people we can encourage to diversify and to invest and to kind of try and participate in that, the kind of 100%. The better, really. Yeah.
So what are the signs that someone is ready to move from money management into wealth strategy? What would you be looking for if they were calling up and saying, so they're not going to be in a huge amount of debt, they're going to have some cash savings. But they could have debt. They might not have cash savings, but they might have pensions they haven't looked at. That's
the key thing, isn't it? Oh, I've got 6 pensions scattered around all over the place. I don't know how they're investing, and they haven't been reviewed in X amount of time. They're from my old workplace. They're from my 20s. So having that, like, things scattered around, having their mortgage in a position, like if I was speaking to a 60-year-old that had a 280 grand mortgage outstanding, that doesn't necessarily mean that's not right, but I would start to question, why have you got 280 grand left at 60 years old? I would expect the balance to potentially be lower than that at that age. So, how's their whole financial piece looking as a whole? Yeah, and are we ready to kind of take that step?
Well,
then?
even as far as like state pensions, have they looked at that? What's the gaps that are in place? It's the whole holistic perspective.
We speak to a lot of small business owners as well, don't we, that have been very, very focused on building their business, and you know, they're now in a position that the business is running quite well. You know, they're earning good money. Their limited company is kind of well capitalised. You know, they've been encouraged by their accountant to kind of ensure the kind of money is staying within the company for many years to kind of keep the company
we
secure
get that
and help build
don't
that.
we?
But now, you know, now they're in a good position to potentially start a pension from that company and benefit from the various tax breaks that offers, and invest for their own kind of personal kind of wealth, you know, as well as having the wealth through their company. I think it's
it's a balance there, definitely.
Yeah.
Did you know I wrote a book? It's called Accelerating Your Wealth. Funny enough, the same as the show, Accelerating Your Wealth podcast show. But this is 10 ways to accelerate your wealth. It was designed to really help people with their finances in a simple way. So we focus on some key sections around your money mindset, some practical things that can be done with your finances, and allowing you to maximise your money and your future. So if you're thinking, hey, this stuff is interesting, then the best next step for you is to check out the book. It's an Amazon 5-star bestseller. Yeah, I know, it's great, right? Go and check it out. You can buy it on Amazon and have it with you tomorrow for a nice cup of tea. So let's just talk about income protection. So what is the role of income protection in protecting future wealth building capacity?
So income protection is obviously, as it says, to protect your income, replace your income. So if you were to be off work, long-term sick, for example, do you know how much your employer pays? A lot of people are like, oh yeah, I've got income protection at work. Yeah, but how much does it pay? Does it pay 4 weeks salary, then 4 weeks half salary? Like, how does that work? Do you actually know how much statutory sick pay is? Because it's not as much as people think it is.
And we came across someone just at the weekend, didn't we, who was a very astute business owner, has life cover through her business, has critical illness in her business, but actually she doesn't need critical illness in it right now. She needs sick pay, because what's wrong with her is not a critical illness, and she's gone to claim and they won't pay out. And so a lot of people have always said to me, well, I've got critical illness, or what's the difference between income protection and do I need both? And the answer is often yes, because we haven't got a crystal ball. We don't know what's going to happen. Are you going to have a mild heart condition, or are you going to have a full-blown heart attack? That's the difference between income protection and critical illness. If she'd have had income protection right now, she could take 6 months out of her business. And so it's also a case for business owners, not just for relevant life and having life cover, like the equivalent of life cover that you get for your limited company, for your employer, which we don't often take into account because you can change jobs. But not only have you not got that, but you might have resources to back up to pay yourself some salary for a few months. But is there key people in your business that you need to insure because they're a key person? It might not just be you, but they might be a key
generate
salesperson.
That income.
So I think looking at the protection piece as a business owner all round, and looking at what you've currently got covered and making sure all the what-if scenarios are covered.
It's scary. 86% of people don't have income protection. 86%, that's huge.
But do you think that's because they think, oh, work will pay me, or the state will help me?
I just don't think people think about it.
They don't like to think of the worst case, that they're going to get ill.
So if they don't think about it, it won't happen, you know?
Yeah, there's a lot of people that think that if they talk about it...
You're manifesting it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're bringing it out there. You're bringing it into the universe.
People talk about wills as well.
Yeah, I don't believe that, to be fair.
But I mean, income protection is for... as we're saying, it is for... it pays out for a broader range of conditions than critical illness.
You can be off with something that's
and
not
it's typically not as expensive. If you think about like critical illness, like covering your mortgage, a lot of people that does become quite expensive, and so I often we scale it down to like 1 year's outgoings, 2 years outgoings, whatever,
or your salary or whatever.
Yes, you can scale it down, and I often would, if I had clients that have quite a tight budget, then I'm more likely to do less life cover, because the life cover is they're more likely to survive. That's a bigger risk. As long as the kids are looked after and the mortgage is paid, then the critical illness and income protection. And I'd rather fit it in so they've got more eventualities covered than anything else.
It's something I feel really strongly about because I've seen it. My cousin was 34. She lost her husband. He dropped dead at work one day. She won't mind me sharing her story. And she had a 6-year-old son, and Jay just dropped dead at work. She got a phone call. It makes me quite teary to thinking about it, but she got a phone call the police are coming to your house, and they drove her up to a London hospital, and by the time she got there, he was dead. And she was 34. They had a big mortgage, big house, 6-year-old kids. And thankfully, Jay was very financially kind of clued up, and he had a lot of life policies. So my cousin's now in her 40s. Her kid is now 18. Amazing boy. 16, sorry. Amazing boy. She's got no mortgage. She didn't have to go back to work. She will openly admit that she did go out and have a really great time on the money as well, but why not? But I just think I feel so passionate about it because I see so many families. We have so many clients calling us saying, my husband's died, what do I do? My husband's had a stroke, what do I do?
I think when you work in this industry, you have a very different view of life. You know, I'm 26 years and I just have a different perspective on all of it because you speak to so many people about it. So, well, thank you for joining us on today's show. I've really enjoyed this conversation around surviving to thriving, turning income into long-term wealth. And let's talk about what their thriving plan could be. So what does the next 12 months look like for you? And what do you want it to look differently? So if you're thinking about that thriving plan in 12 months' time, where would I want to be? What do I want that to look like? So have a think about what do you need to review? So what would you want to review in terms of your lifestyle, the changes you need to make? What do you need to automate? Are there things that you need to automate from a savings perspective? Do I need to automate a standing order into an account, for example? Do I need to overpay on my mortgage and automate that? What simple, easy things can you do to make your life easier from a financial perspective that in 12 months' time you'll look back and go, I didn't have to worry about that and it just got done? And what do you need to stop doing? So if you're thinking about your thriving plan, where you want to be in 12 months' time, what do you need to stop doing? So I use Katie's Costa coffee as an example. And what do you need to learn? Is there something there? Do you need to have a conversation with like Carol, our money coach? Is there something you need to look at in Google? Do you need to listen to a back catalogue of 100, I think like 40 episodes? What do you need to learn? What do you need to focus on? Do you need to read my book, for example? What do you need to do to be able to make some of these changes from being in this place of where you're not feeling that you're thriving to moving that needle forward? So thriving is not about how impressive your income looks. It's about how you intentionally money supports your financial future. So thank you for joining today's show. And if you liked today's episode, you can go back and have a listen to the others. This is part of a 6-part series of the summer reset. And next week, we're going to issue our next show, which is episode 5 out of this special 6-piece series. Do subscribe. Do like on whatever platform you're on. I'd love to hear from you. And next week's session is going to be the life events that shape women's wealth and how to plan for them. So if you like the sound of that,
that's a good one.
It's a good one. Then come and listen in to next week's show. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us today at Accelerating Your Wealth with your host, myself, Rebecca Robertson. I hope you enjoyed the show. Do subscribe and let us know in the comments any of your thoughts.